Speaker, this is a motion being sponsored by myself and 8 others on the need to enhance a broad-based agricultural policy in the country with emphasis on youth participation. Mr. Speaker, it's a harmless motion trying to improve the sustainability and remove scarcity of food in our country. Therefore, I move that the House, aware of their prerequisites of initiating and driving a deliberate and broad-based agricultural policy in order to galvanize the required economic diversification in the country. Also aware of the large youth population which ought to stimulate economic activities but could also result in a demographic disaster if this enormous youth population is not provided with adequate social and economic investments to harness their potentials. Concerned about the absence of a clear strategy in place to ensure a youth-inclined agricultural policy where the youth can earn from the agricultural sector and be able to contribute to the growth in the gross domestic product and the economy at large, while also assuring food security in the country. Note, the 2012 baseline survey of the National Bureau of Statistics, which revealed that 37% of the youth are engaged in agriculture, spreading through various subsectors like crops, livestock, fishing, and forestry. Also note that the same baseline survey indicated a distribution of the annual turnover of the youth from agricultural business based on types of activities as crop farming contributed to the sum of 4 trillion naira. Livestock contributed to 2 trillion naira. Poultry contributed to 20 billion naira. Fishing also contributed to 20 billion naira, while forestry contributed to 1 billion naira. Mr. Speaker, House further notes that agricultural programs of successive administration like the National Accelerated Food Production Program, Operation Feed the Nation, and Green Revolution were policies which showed genuine intent towards agricultural revolution in the country. Mr. Speaker, recognizes government's efforts towards diversifying the economy with emphasis on agricultural sector as evident in the Presidential Economic Diversification Initiative, the Anchor Bora Program, Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, and much publicized Food Security Council. Also recognizes the loud government social investment program, which earmarks about 150 billion naira for conditional cash transfer to vulnerable school feeding program and a monthly disbursement of 30,000 to youth between the age of 18 to 35 years, aimed at training 500 university graduates to be deployed to work in their local communities as teachers, agricultural and health support workers, among others. Determined to complement the effort of the executive arm by deliberately shaping government's policy in the area of social investment program in order to accommodate and enhance more youth participation in agriculture, thereby making agricultural activities attractive to more than half of Nigerian population comprising mostly of the youth. Desirous of initiating a broad-based agricultural program that is youth-inclined, using the National Social Investment Program as a platform. Mr. Speaker, the House resolved to mandate the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services to appraise the National Investment Program with a view to creating the opportunity and possibility of engaging more than 50% of youth population in various agricultural activities. Also mandate the Committee to organize a public hearing or stakeholders meeting centered on developing a broad-based agricultural program with focus on the creation of agricultural clusters in the country as well as youth participation in view of national social intervention. I so move, Mr. Speaker. As well as enhancing the potentials of our youth. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about diversifying of our economy and creating employment. And we are saying that we have not at all looked into the agricultural sector. Mr. Speaker, what this motion is trying to say is that as we plan to do social investments, we should plan it properly to have effects, to have a base, to be meaningful. Mr. Speaker, what we're trying to say is that money ought to be spent, but money should be spent wisely. For not planning wisely, we'll be planning to fail. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that there's already formed a base, a platform for this program to go on. We all know that we also passed and agreed on a law that will enhance social investment program, which was earmarked to take care of agriculture, health, and education. Mr. Speaker, you know that you cannot teach if you're not a trained teacher. We also passed a law here that I'll soon comment that if you're not a qualified teacher, you cannot teach. Mr. Speaker, if you're not good in health, you cannot be doing health work. You can also see now, therefore, that this social investment program can only fit into agriculture. I'll give you an example, Mr. Speaker. In every local government, the government through this scheme pays about 50 youths 30,000 naira to go and teach, to go and do health work and all whatnot. And we know that in all reality, it is not productive. Therefore, why not we channel this to agriculture proper, where we can have agricultural cluster in every LG? Can we imagine, honorable colleagues, if you have in all the 774 LGs, where 50 youths are already paid, are meaningfully engaged in agricultural cluster, they will provide food, we will eat, and they'll be paid. After all, the minimum wage now is say 30,000 naira. So the payment is there. But when you give somebody 30,000 naira and he's not working, you are depreciating that money. The only way we can add value to that money is to make them productive. And the way they can be productive, we'll have enough food to eat. So what we're saying by this motion is that we should channel this properly into agricultural production. We should be sure to have enough food to eat. Mr. Speaker, I fear a lot because we are sitting on time bombs. Hunger is a motivator for violence. Hunger can bring a lot of things, and people are hungry. And the only way we can douse this agitation is to have enough food for people to eat. And the way we can have food is to engage these youths who are now seemingly doing nothing because they have nothing to do. They've not been given something to do. Since the government is desirous of finding them something to do, they should properly have a broad-based agricultural policy that can engage them meaningfully. So that the local government can key into it, the state government can key into it, so that we all have food to eat. That's what we're just saying. We, a lot of time, lay emphasis on agriculture and so on without being realistic and serious about it. The only thing we can do now is to show seriousness. Mr. Speaker, can you imagine any youth you train and pay 30,000 over a period of 2-3 years? The person may be able, with good support, to start his or her own farm. But if it's not well galvanized or well directed, at the end of that 30,000 naira, he or she will go back to square one and will be in where we are. Therefore, let there be a broad-based agriculture. All the major stakeholders in agriculture should come together, have a conference, and determine where we are going to. What did the Asian tigers do that they are food sufficient today? We should emulate them. That's what we're asking. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Of what you said, I'm already trying to make sure that up to 50 youths in my area benefit from the collateral-free, single-digit profit organized through post office and all whatnot. What we're trying to say is that governments, including us, the part of government, should take proactive steps in consciously bringing about agricultural revolution. And I said, the only way we can diversify, the only way we can even survive is to embark on deliberate, well-tailored, broad-based agricultural policy. Mr. Speaker, I say this without fear that we have no agricultural policy in Nigeria. In the past, like my colleague here said, we have farm settlements. Why did they die? In the past, we have something like accelerated food production programs. We had Operation Feed the Nation. We had Green Revolution. We had School to Land. They were successful. Mr. Speaker, I make bold again to say that except we resolve consciously cause agricultural revolution, we should endure a revolution caused by hunger. We are not saying stop the policy as we have. We are saying there's a platform already we can build on. We are saying that the social investment policy is already platform, but we can channel it properly to cause revolution in agriculture for better yield. Mr. Speaker, oil is no longer doing all the needful. We need to eat. I'll give you an example. We chased Ghanaians away some years ago. They went back home. They sat and they said, what do we do? They developed, first of all, broad agricultural policy, Within 2 years, they had food sufficiency. The next 3 years, they had uninterrupted power supply. One leads to the other. We're only saying here that use the platform you have to increase the needful. Let me give you an example. We also passed a law here that if you're not a qualified teacher, don't teach. It will soon be operational. Therefore, I'm saying, adjust this program, maybe add more money, still using the same fund, adjust in a way we'll get a better, efficient result. Mr. Speaker, it is a reliable project of the government now. We like it. We're only saying, how can we use it in area that is most needful? The social investment program says to be tailored into education, health, and agriculture. Mr. Speaker, if you're not a trained health personnel, you have a limited functions in health. If you're not a qualified teacher, like we know now, we even see what our graduates now write. According to a professor here, said this distance education makes knowledge distant from them. But agriculture is something you can go in. So what I would say is harmless, except there's a study. When you call the stakeholders to come and look at it, when we say appraise that, we're not saying discard it, but look at it. Which way can we do an adjustment? Except you study a thing, you don't know what is in it. So that's what I'm calling, say, let the stakeholders meet through a cultural committee so we can appraise it, add more value to it. I'm not saying discard it. I'm not saying stop other people. That's what I'm just trying to say. Now you've mentioned other existing programs. They're not known, they're not popular, they are very quiet. CBN gives that. So therefore, when we harness all, we'll be able to channel it in a manner and shape that it will benefit us. That's what we are just trying to say in this motion.
What cross program? In it, it's hundreds of billions that is given. And that's why Cross River, I believe, have taken advantage of that one. Today, they are among the rice-producing states, including tomato, Kebbi State, Ebonyi, those that I know that have benefited so much. My concern is that the money that is meant, if we do not, but I'm not averse to the issue of appraisal. The only thing that it should be done by the appropriate committee in line with our rules. Let the committee on the poverty alleviation, that we have said no motion will go to any other article. So also other business of the house should go to the relevant committee. That should be the guiding area. Thank you very much. You still have amendment or contribution? No, he has done his right of reply. Thank you. Yeah, amendment. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.